Luego de todo un año varados en este planeta, nuestro primer vuelo de prueba está listo. Llevemos a todos a casa.
Suerte, capitán. ¡Todos contamos con usted!
Entendido.
So, Angus, Galyn, you both are Pixar veterans. Each one of you has put more than 20 years of your life in the studio. How did you two end up working together on Lightyear?
We have worked on several films together. And when you work at the studio, you naturally gravitate towards people that help you produce your best work. And I think that the two of us discovered many years ago that we bring out the best in each other, and that we, I don't know, I couldn't ask for a better producer.
Okay, Pixar has a tendency to explore deep concepts and feelings through a clear narrative, but science fiction epics are usually complex. Angus, was it hard to keep that balance of what's deep and what's light with Lightyear?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that there's something about the challenge that sci-fi epics have is they'll put a lot of mythology right up front, and you'll have to understand some sort of deep backstory to set the world. And so what we wanted to do was begin simply with the character and what the character was going through, and follow the character's simple desires and concerns. And by always putting the audience through Buzz's point of view and how he was feeling, it allowed us to reveal the sci-fi world that we wanted to do. So that really was the key for us. You wanted to make a movie that was accessible, so that people could enjoy the movie on a human level without having to buy into a lot of backstory that could be there, but wasn't necessary to understand to enjoy the film.
There's something I wanted to say, that in the conference yesterday you said that this movie is also about the dangers of nostalgia. Did you feel while making this film that maybe there was a kind of dangerous territory, because, you know, Toy Story is a very well beloved franchise, and now you're making, of course, this movie?
That's wonderful that you bring that up. There is a certain irony to making a movie about the dangers of nostalgia and looking back with a property that has had such a rich history as Toy Story. But I find that there's something really interesting about that as a person. Like, how do we view our past, and do we enjoy that because of who we were then, or what it spoke to us, or what we've learned from it? How do we define ourselves from that nostalgia? I don't believe that nostalgia is bad per se, but too much focusing on the past can often blind you to the present realities. So because I feel like we'd had a hand in Toy Story universe, it wasn't a matter of a retcon or a fan fiction type thing. It was a situation where we were taking mythology and separating it and doing a new thing.
And what about you, Galyn? Were you worried, or were you focused that, so that the movie is not focusing too much in nostalgia?
I think I was more worried about making sure that we were delivering a story that touched people in the same way that the Toy Story films touched people, because we do have these fans that really are loyalists. As one of our crew members says, I don't want to disappoint the dude that's got the Buzz Lightyear tattoo, and then he has to go and try to get it removed from his arm, right? Because we've seen that. It's crazy. So you don't want to disappoint that fan.
And now I wanted to ask you both. Of course, you have both been in Pixar for a long time. This could be a big question. How would you describe the evolution of Pixar in all these years you've been part of it?
It's a much bigger company now, and we have 15 projects going on simultaneously. And so when you run into somebody in the hallway, the likelihood is higher than not that you're not working on the same project. And that is very different from when I first joined and everybody was working on Toy Story, and everybody was sort of on the same mission, fighting the same battle type of thing. That's probably for me the biggest difference.
There was such a different spirit in the sense that the technology and the medium of CG animation was in its infancy at the beginning. That there was so much sharing of how would you do that? You would literally work on a shot and discover something as an animator that then you could share with other people, and there was this weird sense of discovery, I would say. It's just a different thing. The craft, of course, is just tremendously different now than it was all that long time ago. But
we couldn't even have imagined doing a film that like was just done 25, 30 years ago. That's just not even.
I can't imagine it now. 5 minutes ago, I couldn't have 5 minutes. No, yeah, it's pretty amazing when you look at the image side by side of the original Buzz Lightyear and our Buzz Lightyear now, which is really not been possible. It's the standing on the shoulders of giants, of all of the people and all of the efforts that have been done before that we're taking advantage of this 26th film.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you, don't you both find inspiring that your job creating these worlds could have a similar impact for kids all over the world, just the way you were inspired by fiction while you were younger?
That's the goal. I think the biggest challenge for me is my own view of it, in the sense like I really want it to be great and I know what it could be, and it's a constant source of frustration for me wanting it to be the best film I can be, because I do want it to be something that will inspire people the way that those movies inspired me.
Yeah, I think that if the experience when you speak with the kids about filmmaking, one of the things that you get to talk about when you talk about computer animation is that you're good at math, you can do this. You're good at art, you can do this. You like that, you can do this, right? And the fact that there's so many kids of all different types of interests and backgrounds, they can all do this. And the more opportunity to convince them that they want to do this, the better.